The Bold and the Beautiful is a half-hour program, so storylines must move quickly. However, some stories seemingly played out for years. We revisited the Baby Beth storyline earlier this year. In fact, a lot has happened this year alone, but there are some storylines we wish would have lasted longer. Some of them could have easily carried on into the fall and winter seasons. Steffy knifing Sheila. On the February 26, 2024 episode, Steffy stabbed Sheila to death. Or at least she thought she did. The episode was one of the biggest moments in the notorious villain's history. In the episode, Steffy assumes that she finally killed her arch-nemesis. It turned out that it was Sheila's doppelganger Sugar. She snuck into Sheila's home and sought revenge on her. Steffy somehow got cleared, even though she murdered another woman. It would have been interesting to explore more of this storyline between Sheila and Sugar and what led them to this moment. Also, it would have been great for Wood's character to explore the complexities of killing someone. This was Steffy's first time where she committed murder. Instead of getting therapy, she persevered and picked up where she left off at Forrester Creations. Surely, Steffy didn't move on from the trauma that moment caused. Lost Thope. Thope was one of the hottest couples to come to daytime. The relationship between Thomas and Hope was complex since he was her stalker and abuser. But then, Hope realized she had feelings for him until she was over it. Hope turned down his multiple proposals. Thomas left Europe and the B&B viewers behind. And it doesn't look like B&B will revisit this storyline anytime soon. Carter filled Thomas's place. The coup attempt would have made more sense if Thope was behind it, not Cope. Luna's lunacy. One of the most interesting characters this year was Luna. At first, she seemed like a sweet girl who wanted to work at Forrester Creations. But then she transformed into this baddie who wanted Bill's billions and sweet loving. She locked up Steffy in a cage after she caught her in action. This storyline had feet to run for weeks. However, it was resolved in a few short days once Finn realized that it was weird that he didn't hear from his wife after she left for town. He broke into Luna's apartment and set Steffy free. Yes, this was a great moment for Shin fans, but it would have been fun to see Luna torture Steffy some more. Maybe she could have added more victims to her cage of secrets, such as Katie. One honorable mention is Luna's biological father, Tom. Fans would have loved to hear more about his background history, including his relationship with Poppy. He was a refreshing from the current cast of characters. Tom could have been the friend that Deacon needed in his life. What storylines do you think could have lasted longer? Let us know in the comment section. Brooks fake out when Brooke basically shrugged, agreed to be put in charge, and then went live on social media 5 seconds later to announce the big changes at Forrester. I was gobsmacked. On the surface, it made no sense. She not only knew but acknowledged aloud that taking over as CEO would create big problems with Ridge. Yet quick as Zen could prop up his iPhone and plug in the ring light, Brooke was doing an impromptu announcement without so much as a script. I was still reeling from the seemingly immense stupidity of this move when, in the same episode, she took Zen into her confidence to disclose her true plan. To betray Hope and give the company back to Ridge as a show of loyalty. It was a stunning reveal, and better still, the writers didn't drag it out. Why? Because they needed Ridge to fall into bed with Taylor rather than, having either of them show a modicum of maturity or self-respect. If there's a fatal flaw to this story, it's that. Well, I just don't buy that Brooke would really backstab her daughter in such a cold-hearted way. That's doubly true, given Ridge's recent horrendous behavior. Is Brooke really going to reward her would-be spouses calling Hope a slut and a bitch by giving him back the company? And if she finds out Ridge hit the sheets with Taylor, will Brooke change her mind? It's called karma. I also like that Brooke at least tried to reach out to Ridge before making her big announcement. But of course, he didn't respond to her text, meaning he, Steffy, and Eric were blindsided by Brooke's announcement. And anyone who knows the history of this show knows that its characters tend to make rash decisions, which means it's almost inevitable that Ridge will hit the sheets with Taylor before Brooke is able to fill him in on her master plan. Interestingly, even as these events were unfolding on air, the show's official YouTube channel was re-airing episodes in which Maya told Rick that she is transgender, which meant that as real-time Ridge was being dealt karma for the way he'd treated Hope and Carter. 2015 Ridge was saying that Rick's heartache was a direct result of the younger man having behaved like a tyrant around the Forrester offices. Of course, What Ridge didn't know was that Maya's revelation would only bring her closer to eventual husband Rick. Missing in action, I'm baffled as to why Zend is all over this story, serving as Ridge and Steffy's man on the inside, while also being taken into Brooke's confidence, and yet RJ is nowhere to be seen. Shouldn't Ridge's son be at least as important in this story as his nephew? This is especially odd, given that RJ was introduced as a successful influencer who then, despite his initial reservations, became a member of the Hope for the Future design team. It would have made far more sense for him to be the one setting up the equipment used during Brooke's social media announcement. And while new kid on the block Elektra and Aunt Ivy were caught up in the fallout of the takeover, RJ, an actual heir apparent, has been entirely ignored. Who's the boss? The week's other big story involved Elektra being fired because of Remy's doctored photos. This story, too, moved at a pretty decent pace, but didn't make a whole lot of sense. I'm not sure which was less logical. Katie declaring that as head of public relationship, she had the power to hire and fire people, or her and Brooke thinking they could axe Elektra without explanation. Also, not for nothing, but what would firing Elektra actually accomplish? The company had already rolled out an ad campaign featuring the young beauty. It's not as if firing her would somehow retroactively erase the already launched PR campaign. It also seems somewhat ridiculous that in 2024, nude photos doctored or otherwise would be considered a big deal. Katie and Brooke were essentially trying to prevent one scandal from snowballing into another, but all they really did was open themselves up to a potential lawsuit regarding Elektra's termination. Random thoughts. The writers missed a golden opportunity to expand the takeover story by having Bill become involved. Why not have Hope Carter and Ridge Steffy running to have their side of the story told by Bill's Ion fashion? Hope could turn to ex-Liam, hoping to have him sway Dollar Bill's coverage in her direction. I kind of want Carter's first order of business to be giving the main office a makeover. I mean, could it be more outdated? It is 100% time for Thomas to come back. Why not have Ridge call his son and cook up a plan to play on Hope's supposedly former feelings in order to come between her and Carter? The bold and the beautiful spoilers reveal that Taylor Hayes may be in for a rude awakening now that she's reconnected with Ridge Forrester in the bedroom. Taylor's dream reunion is within reach, but that doesn't mean she'll truly get to live happily ever after with the man she loves. After all, B&B never lets Taylor win against Brooke Logan for very long. Taylor seems to be on the verge of getting everything she wants, but her blissful bubble may ultimately burst. At the moment, Ridge thinks Brooke is a dirty traitor who added to the pain of this Forrester takeover by stealing the CEO spot. However, Brooke will have a chance to explain once the week of December 23rd to 27th gets underway. Ridge will rip into Brooke since he's jumped to the wrong conclusions, but Brooke will assure him that this isn't a betrayal. It's actually a secret plan that Brooke hopes will lead to giving Ridge and Steffy Forrester their power back. Brooke thinks reclaiming the CEO spot will put her in a position to influence Carter Walton and convince him to refile the LLC papers. Of course, Brooke wants everything in order this time around with Ridge and Steffy back in charge. How will Ridge feel once Brooke gives him updates on her scheme? Will Ridge finally see Brooke's loyalty and determine that he's made a huge mistake with Taylor? Even if Ridge is stubborn and takes some time to come to that realization instead, it seems likely to happen eventually. Ridge flip-flops between women like crazy, so his sudden shift to Taylor may not last. Brooke isn't going to be happy when she inevitably finds out about Ridge getting passionate with Taylor, but Carter was recently hyping up the idea of destiny. The show has consistently made Ridge and Brooke a couple that's fated to be together, so challenges are always conquered in the end. In other words, even if Brooke and Ridge break up now, that doesn't mean he's going to devote himself to a life with Taylor forever. Ridge and Brooke will surely come back around as a pairing, so Taylor should prepare for that broken heart syndrome of hers to flare back up. Our B&B predictions point to Ridge indeed leaving Taylor brokenhearted sooner or later, so we'll keep you posted on any bad news that's brewing. The bold and the beautiful spoilers say Ridge's love life will bring some major drama in the coming episodes, so stay tuned. As the bold and the beautiful gears up for a messy Christmas holiday, there is another reason to celebrate. Bridget Forrester is returning to town to celebrate the holidays with her family. It also marks Ashley's 20th anniversary as Bridget on The Bold and the Beautiful. She debuted in the role in December 2004, when she came home for the holidays, and her return this year is a full-circle moment. Ashley has been a staple in soaps over the last 2 decades, but the CBS soap will always be her home. However, Bridget is walking into a difficult situation with what's happening at Forrester Creations. Ashley Jones celebrates 20 years as Bridget Forrester. On Instagram, Ashley Jones dropped the news that Bridget was returning to the bold and the beautiful for the holidays while highlighting her anniversary. She wrote a lengthy caption, which read in part, 20 years ago, Bridget Forrester came home for Christmas and she comes home again next week. There have been crazy storylines, especially between Bridget and her mom, Brooke. Ashley highlighted that in her caption and shared several photos from the years spent on the CBS soap. Over the years, Ashley has appeared on The Young and the Restless as Megan Dennison, where she started in the daytime world. She also appeared on ABC's General Hospital as Parker Forsyth, the teacher love interest of Christina. Bridget walks into a complicated family dynamic. When Bridget returns home, there is plenty to be sorted out. She's a Forrester and a Logan, the daughter of Brooke and Eric. With Forrester Creations in disarray, seeing where she falls in the power struggle will be interesting. The bold and the beautiful spoilers teased Bridget's homecoming for the holidays. There will likely be some conflict when she learns what's transpired between Hope and the Forresters, including her dad being ousted from control of the company he built and has run for decades. It will be a quick visit and pop back into town, as Bridget is busy living her life as a renowned surgeon. Not too long ago, she did a longer stint, stepping in to help save Eric's life when Ridge nearly opted to pull the plug. Be sure to tune in next week to see Bridget's return and help Ashley Jones celebrate 20 years in the role. In the latest, the bold and the beautiful preview for December 23rd to 27th. Not everyone is having a Merry Christmas. Read on and find out what happens. Ridge in the Forrester's world was turned upside down when Carter took over Forrester Creations for Hope, then put Brooke back in as CEO. Feeling betrayed, Ridge once again turned to his ex, Taylor, and they made love. What he doesn't know is that Brooke only took the CEO position to scheme against Carter and Hope and return the company to Ridge and Steffy. With the holidays here, the corporate world seems to take a minor break from merriment. Brooke welcomes Bridget home, and Pam also joins the Logans as they open and exchange gifts. With Finn by her side, Steffy says, "There is nothing like the power of Christmas," and that's about all of the holiday cheer in this promo, which quickly turns dark. Bill visits Luna in prison again and finds she's been badly beaten. He asks what the hell happened to you. Brooke finally gets to Ridge and tells him she did all this for him. He responds, "You put a knife in my back for me." He's going to feel like a fool when Brooke tells him what's really going on. Finally, fresh off being fired for Remy's latest Photoshop stunt, the stalker tells Elektra, "I meant what I said. I'm here for you, just like before." The scene flashes to Elektra pulling herself together in a dark bathroom and seeing something that causes her to let out a blood-curdling scream. On the wall, bizarre photos of her can barely be made out,